Thoughts and prayers also. Gunnar Gatula is out for the season getting knee surgery. So we are now without Prohaska for the season. We're now without Rhule. We're now without Gatula. Speedy recovery to all of those guys. All right. No word on Pritchett that I'm aware of. So hopefully he's back. You know what's crazy? Two tackles are out. Two starting offensive tackles are out because Prohaska started at times this year, so has Gunnar. You still have 5 guys left on that line who have started 15 games or more. Some of these guys well into the 20s, by the way. I think one might have 30. I'd have to double check that. Career starts. Like, we got experience. Like, we're not, now the depth just got a lot thinner. That's where development has to happen. I'm just saying, next man up, right? Today's college football. I've been curious, and I haven't spoken on it until now, so I might as well do it now. I've been curious how it's going to play out because most teams, I can't include Nebraska in this year. Next year I can. Oregon, Indiana, Iowa, Ohio State. Okay. Most teams, I just got a text that Pritchett practiced last night, so he'll be good to go. Most teams are playing tougher schedules than they ever have. Most teams are thinner than they've ever been. Alabama, Georgia, yeah, they used to roll 2-3 deep. A lot of their number 2s could beat other teams' starting players. Not anymore. NIL transfer portal, boom, I'm going somewhere else. So teams are playing tougher competition than they've ever faced. If you're a playoff team, you're playing more games than anybody's ever played, outside of last year, I guess. And you're probably as thin as you've ever been due to NIL and the transfer portal. I've been curious how this is going to play out all year. Development of younger players is more important than it's ever been. And here's a counter to that. Because by the time November rolls around, I don't look at a freshman as a freshman anymore. Or a guy who's a sophomore as a sophomore. You're now towards the end of the season. Like, you played over half the year. We have played 2/3 of our games. Like, there should be more guys than you had in August unequivocally ready to step up. Have you developed throughout the season? Because off-season development has always been crucial. In-season development, I don't think you can just throw guys down there on scout team, which is an important job. You are running the plays that, like, TJ Lateef, he needs good reps against the defense all week, a defense that's going to show him UCLA's defense so he knows what to do on Saturday. But I know guys who are on scout team, they wouldn't go to team meetings. They wouldn't do anything. They would lift. They'd go run. They'd be the X, and they'd follow the arrow on the card, right, left, next play. Look at the folder that's being held up by the defensive assistant. You're the X. Okay, stunt to this guy. Okay, you got this. And you don't really learn or do anything. I mean, you're doing football, but you're not learning anything within your system. I don't think you can just do that anymore. You have to in-season develop guys now more than ever. Nebraska, you still have 5. I say this with a ton of respect, but there's no excuse. You still have 5 guys who started tons of games in their career, double digits deep in their careers. You got experience. Guys you brought in through the portal, guys who were highly recruited, etc. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Quarterback Dylan Rhule is going to get surgery on his broken fibula. He will not travel to LA getting surgery. All right. Then let's start to move on and look ahead. You got any final thoughts? Speedy wishes, thoughts and prayers to Dylan Rhule. Anything else on Dylan? Anything else on UCLA before we start to look ahead, Jake?
Well, it's definitely is going to be an interesting week against UCLA. I know we're going to kind of break them down throughout the week, but Nebraska's, to your point earlier, I mean, Nebraska's almost got an identity change here. Emmett Johnson is a 1,000-yard back. You've got more of a running quarterback in place. You proved you've got a great passing defense now, right, against the number 1 total offense. So there's still some strengths to lean on in path to victory here, I think, for the team. 2 quick questions from the text line that I did want to get your thoughts on. John in Southeast Lincoln says, are you concerned that Emmett is getting too many carries and needs a break once in a while?
So that's fair. I had that concern at the beginning of the year. So think back to Cincinnati. I mean, I think he had about 20 carries, but it wasn't anything crazy. I mean, 20 is not a light load. Houston, Christian, and Akron, the starters were out for 3.5 of those 8 quarters, which I had no problem with. Keep them fresh. It's a long season. Get your other guys experience. But going into the Michigan game, he had not ran the ball a ton.
So he did have 32 touches against Cincinnati.
I remember that was more, but a lot of those were receptions as well.
7 receptions,
Yeah. But basically, I don't want to say he had a pseudo bye week, Houston Christian and Akron. Because I'm just saying that because he had 3.5 quarters where he didn't play, where the starters didn't have to play. So that's not disrespectful to Houston or Akron. But my point was he was fresh going into Michigan. And of our 6 Power 4 games going into Saturday's game versus USC, he'd only rushed the ball for 20 times or more in 50% of those games. So my point is, going into USC with 5 games to go in the year and a bye week at that point. So let's transport back to last Friday, back to the future to the, and that doesn't work. Go back to last Friday. I never understood that the headline of those movies always confused me, and to this day is still confusing to me. I understand it, but it's still confusing. Back to the future. Anyways, let's go back to last Friday. At that point, you had 5 games left, and literally right in the middle of the bye week, and he hadn't ran the ball a ton. It wasn't like an incredibly light load, but honestly, I wanted it to be more. The last 5 games of the year, if he runs it 20 to 30 times, remember, there's a bye week in there. And then a long break before whatever bowl game we play in. It's at least going to be 2 weeks off, if not 3 or 4. I am not worried about him getting the ball too much because he has not had that workload continuously the entire season. Because before the season, that was my concern. I wish he would have gotten the ball more throughout the season. Isaiah Mosey's clearly our number 2 back. Okay, I was hoping a clear number 2 would step up and get more reps throughout the season. We at least know who the number 2 is, I guess. For me, like, you got to run the ball with TJ Lateef. You got to run the ball with Emmett Johnson. You got a lot of ball left to play, but you ain't got a lot of games left, in my humble opinion, compared to had you started this game 1. And you could argue that you could have been doing it the whole year, but I understand why they did what they did, but he's ready to go this last month. If he gets hurt, I mean, it's football. You have to do what you have to do to win at this point. It's like if you're coaching a basketball team. Oh, before halftime, they got 3 fouls. You got to go out till half. Oh, man, if 4 fouls, 10 minutes to go, or 15 minutes to go, I got to sit you. With 5 minutes to go in the game, I don't care if you've got 1 or 4 fouls. You got to go in. I kind of feel like that about this last month of the season. Like, you got to go. If TJ gets hurt, unfortunately, because if you don't let him run, you're hamstringing the one thing that we can count on with him because everything else is such a learning process. It's worth the risk, and frankly, you don't have a choice. Same thing with Emmett Johnson, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I would say, too, I mean, you look at these last couple of games, he's had 29 touches against Northwestern and then 31 against USC. So it is starting to add up. I could see the concern there. Would love to see Mosey a little bit more faith in a backup.
That would be
maybe
nice.
To take 5 or 6 of those carries instead of 2 or 3. I think that could help out quite a bit. The other question,
maybe third downs, because Emmett's so good on third. He's not the best blocker. I don't know how good of a blocker Mosey is. We haven't seen him a ton in a game, but maybe because Mosey came from being a wide receiver.
Yeah.
So maybe there's ways you could get him on the field that could help elite. I'm just saying, you got 1 game in a bye week, and then you got 2 games, and then a lot of weeks off, and then a bowl game. It's not like you're staring down the barrel of 8 straight games or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's a risk with both guys. It's 5 minutes left to go in the basketball game. You got to do what you got to do to try to win, in my humble opinion. Matt Rhule opened his press conference, said, and I quote, "We're sitting at a crossroads as a team. It's an unbelievable opportunity for us." End quote. Here's another quote. "I know for me, this week, I'm going to do the best job I can for TJ Lateef. Every single person in our organization is going to try to do a little bit more for TJ Lateef." Said he talked to the players. You in? Yeah, they're in. Players are in. Coaches are in. Kind of expected that. But you know what? You never take anything for granted. Talking about Dylan. So Dylan was trying to go back in. He basically has, the broken fibula, the broken ankle, the broken leg, broken lower body extremity, however you want to phrase it, wanting to go back into the game. So hopefully there's nobody out there questioning Dylan, and I haven't heard too much of that. It's been overwhelming support for Dylan. So let's continue with that. Now let's see what else we got here. So just a reminder, Rhule did work with the Bruins. Okay. I think it was 0-1. Let's see here. Yeah, it was 0-1. So he spent some time out at UCLA. Is that how we met Tony White, by the way? Were they at UCLA at the same time? Do you mind looking that up real quick?
Yeah, I believe that's the story.
That's where, that's right. Because when Tony got hired, I remember finding they had crossed over time there during his time at UCLA. Obviously, that's Coach White's alma mater there. Let's see what else we got here. It's not a whole lot of anything else too crazy. It's the fact that this is an amazing opportunity. The players are in, the coaches are in, everybody's got to step up their game. You got any thoughts real quick to that there, Jake? And then I got a couple other things real quick.
Well, like you said, I mean, it's good that everybody's buying in. You don't really have a choice, but there's no problem on the team getting behind TJ Lateef. It's interesting. I mean, again, a guy that came into this game, less than a year ago, it was in high school. So maybe I just think that they've got a better opportunity moving forward, as we said throughout the show, with him taking the first team reps, them building a game plan around him. But the interesting part that you said earlier is that I think you gotta also, I'm interested to see if it's full on TJ Lateef, which it appears to be. But you've also got to get those other quarterbacks ready, especially with a running quarterback like TJ. Another injury could happen. So Jalen Gramstad, I'm interested to see how much he is prepared this week, and maybe if they how long of a leash there is between the two, because when it came into it, it was that Gramstad was expected to be the backup this year, and then Lateef kind of took that from him. So how much did he gain past Gramstad to be the obvious number one guy in these final 3 weeks? I don't know. Right now they're saying they're all in on Lateef. That's the right thing to do, but could see Gramstad by the end of the season as well.
It's interesting because, just a reminder, you make a good point. Jalen Gramstad may or may not have come back to Nebraska to play football this year. They literally recruited him to come back and play. And Dylan Rhule was the main one texting him, just FYI. So Jalen is a guy that they do believe in. Don't forget about a guy like Marcos Davilla, 4-star. Now, he transferred here from Purdue, and I remember talking about that. I don't think I've seen his name literally since. He threw for 9,000 yards in high school at Texas. So you don't hear much about him. He's got the physical tools. Gramstad has the years, the experience. Again, not a ton of FBS, but they call him a coach on the field, which is one of the main reasons Dylan wanted him back and the staff wanted him back. I think that TJ is the guy. You got to be able to get those other guys ready just in case, but TJ needs the reps. It's one of those things where there's 5 minutes left in the game. Because here are some of the other things that Rhule said. All right, disappointed. Wanted our seniors to be able to fight for a college football playoff spot. Obviously, that's not going to happen. They battled and fought hard for each other. He did mention the blackout will profoundly impact what they are going to do going forward. They want to do it yearly. They do. And frankly, I'm fine with it. Said he didn't sleep on Saturday night. The team is at a crossroads. We have to get people to respect Nebraska football again. The next 3 games are some of the most important for our team and our program going forward. Preach hallelujah, amen. I could not possibly agree anymore. That's why I'm not moving the goalpost at 8 games. You should have won one of the 3 games earlier. You're going to be a dog in every game, probably the bowl game too, the rest of the year. You've got to figure it out. Imagine the respect that you could earn. Just go out and win. I say go win half the games like it's nothing. Like that's easy. It's not easy. The odds are against us. And if somebody said, Adam, do you think they're going to finish with 8 wins? I'd probably say no. I'd also still say they got to get 8 wins. It's not about what I think will happen. It's about what needs to happen. It's a huge opportunity. It's a crossroads. If you want to earn respect as a program and as a coaching staff, this is your opportunity. Instead of teams with lesser talent beating us, teams with third-string quarterbacks beating us, you now have to crawl out of a hole in the ground, Jake, that's been dug. However it got there, it's there. And if you can crawl out and come out swinging, that'd be a big opportunity to earn a lot of respect and positivity going forward for this program. All right, we have to come together to sow seeds that will manifest themselves in the future. Sounds partially like a farmer right there. I like it. Obviously hates losing Dylan. All right, and he says that they will come together as a team. This week isn't about TJ, and I get that because it's about everyone else stepping up their game around TJ. But it's also about TJ. It just is what it is. But it is about everyone else stepping up around TJ. When I say it's about TJ, I'm not saying TJ has to step in and play at some incredibly high level. I'm saying they need to build a game plan around him. He needs to be efficient, take care of the ball, utilize the skill set you have. All right. And everybody else needs to step up around.